Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to today's video. Today what I'd like to share with you guys is my crazy experience with removing orange tip off of a certain pistol, which was probably the hardest orange tip removal I've ever done on an airsoft gun, and that would be for this bad boy right here. This is the FNX-45 by Cybergun. For this particular pistol, they typically have it come either with the orange thread that has, or the orange tip with the threads, or they'll just have it with a plain orange tip with, it has like little bumps on it and everything, like knurling or something, I don't know. But anyway, that second option does not come with an option to, to mount a suppressor of any kind. As you can tell with what I removed here, this one will unveil a thread to mount some kind of a suppressor on of your choosing. That's mainly why I had to remove this, is because I do have plans on buying a certain suppressor for this particular pistol, so I had to remove the orange tip. That was just ridiculous. So here's what the aftermath looks like of this thing. The reason why it looks kind of blackish is because I did originally have this Sharpied out, but I ended up just not liking it at all, and I was just trying to test it out and see, hey, let me see if I can rip this thing off and see what happens. For a lot of you that do this, I bet you kind of went through that same anxiety feeling of like, oh my god, I'm gonna break the freaking gun or break the barrel doing this. Because let's just say I had to use a pair of vice grips for this, and I had to use a mini torch. Not a lighter, a torch. So it's a much higher concentrated just source of, heat right to this thing. I had to pretty much put it on direct fire on it for like maybe several minutes, and then, once I get it heated up, give it a couple of twists and turns, nudge it around for a little bit, and then again, same procedure. And man, I can't even explain. It probably took me like a good 20 minutes before the glue that they used in here finally gave. Because I mean, I don't know what exactly they used, but they used some kind of super high, like intense resin or something. I don't exactly know. And I mean, the threads on here are really tight as well to begin with. So like I'm trying to thread this thing back on, and as you can tell, it doesn't even want to thread back on, just because there's like a bunch of crap still like on the threads. So for those of you that probably, that have this pistol, that have struggled with the same issue, here's how I can just verbally mention to you how to take care of this. So essentially you have the pistol. Let's say that I didn't take this thing off, it's still on there. What I'd recommend is one of those like Bic torch lighters. You could pretty much find it anywhere, and Walmart, Walgreens, Home Depot, whatever. I think I found mine at Walmart. So you just find one that doesn't have the little flame, but like an actual torch almost. And what you want to do is, you could use a torch, and you could even use like your mom's kitchen stove or something. It needs a very high amount of flame to it. It does, the hair dryer thing or a heat gun isn't really going to cut it so much, because it needs a little bit more to break out this industrial adhesive that they used for the friggin' tip of the barrel. And with heating it, the thing is that makes it already a little bit challenging is with this thing on, you cannot remove the barrel. You literally have to field strip the pistol and hold the entire upper slide of the gun in your hand and, twist it with pliers at the same time. Because in order for me to field strip this gun fully, to take the outer barrel out, that tip needed to be gone, because otherwise I would never be able to take this thing apart, and, I would have never been able to, really lubricate and clean this thing, not really been able to get in there like how I wanted to. So that's kind of what makes it a little challenging, is you basically have to work this thing while it's on the gun itself. I noticed that if I grab the gun like this, putting a lot of pressure on the outer barrel so it doesn't wobble as much, because it will wobble. So if I twist it like this, you can see it wobbling. So Of course, when you have pliers and you're putting a good amount of pressure on trying to turn this thing, it's gonna wobble and it's gonna put a lot of strain. So I've had it to where I would just grab it like this right on the outer barrel, put my index finger through the trigger guard like so, and then I would just hold it. Of course, I would be doing this with my left hand and then my right hand with the set of pliers, and then turning it. I don't recall the direction. I don't think it's not a reverse thread. Let me check. Yeah, so it's gonna be like a regular thread, I think counterclockwise, I'm pretty sure is the direction. So it's not one of those weird reverse threads for this kind of thing. So, you know, pretty much it would go, if you're looking at the pliers, it's gonna be going like downward, like so. Don't know if that's, I always get those confused, but anyway, that's what you're gonna kind of be doing at the same time while you're heating it for a bit. You heat it for maybe a few minutes, then you know, put the whatever heat source you're using, you know, take it away, and then just give it a go with the pliers a few times just to nudge the glue a little. Then again, take that torch or that, you know, heat source, and again, do it around the whole diameter of the orange tip. And you know, it may have took me longer than usual because I was a little nervous of breaking the gun. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, it's probably easy, you know, yada yada. I mean, yeah, it's easy, but when you're, you know, dealing with a $160 pistol, you really don't want to screw it up. You really don't want to break anything. So it's better safe than sorry by, you know, the slow and steady wins the race type thing for this, because again, they put these things on very, very well. You know, this company that makes these guns, they really, you know, they really put some oomph into some of these orange tips and to the parts in general. So it's, you know, it's on there. I mean, it was like the greatest feeling ever when I got this thing removed. And I mean, I don't really think it looks all that great, to be honest. Feels like it's missing something there. But again, since I'm going to be mounting a suppressor on there anyway, I don't really care for it as much because, I mean, this is kind of like, it's pretty noticeable, like the thing that they used here for this orange tip. You know, it's metal, so if it was plastic, I would have ripped it off a while ago. The thing is, it's metal, and it just makes it a lot more of a pain. But yeah, you know, I didn't really like it. It was just too bright orange, and even with it colored in, you could see the orange a little bit. You know, I did several like just shadings with the marker, and still it was visible. But anyway, this is what it will look like for US customers, of course. For everybody else, they don't have to deal with this shit. So kudos for you guys. You guys are the best for that. But anyway, that's really, I kind of wanted to share that with you. Just my experience. I know I cannot be the only one that had a freaking issue with taking these things, taking the orange tip off. And I mean, this really goes for a lot of the orange tips in general. They are like, a lot of them are pretty much the same thing where they're on there like crazy. If they're plastic, that has its hit or miss too, because if you snap it wrong, you're gonna break the ring off just fine, but then you're gonna get the plastic little, like, just the centerpiece in, like, that's caked into the barrel. That'll get stuck in there. That's even worse. I've had that happen, and it's just more time wasted trying to pick the pieces out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really hope that, verbally, if you are trying this, I hope my method will work for you. I did this a while ago, and I was just looking at this thing and remembering how much hell it was to just remove this orange tip, and it just was not, it was not fun. I was always worried the gun would break, and now I'm glad it's off, so I can continue doing my little project to it like I had planned. So hopefully this will kind of open a new door for you guys if you're trying to do the same thing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, if you're into a lot of airsoft content of any kind, I definitely have a ton of videos. I have a ton of playlists as well. Definitely come check it out. I'm sure it's something you'll enjoy, and if it is, definitely subscribe, because I do post a lot of airsoft related content, so it'll keep you guys up to date with what I post up. So anyway, that's it. Have a good one, guys.